Oh, good. I can't see any of y'all. Okay. I'm not from around here. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, and this is a story about the moment I decided who I wanted to be when I grew up. And I thought about this recently. A photograph was taken of me, and I looked at that photograph, and I'm like, I became that person I decided I wanted to be at 14 years old. So I grew up in Brooklyn, but I got into a fancy high school in Manhattan, and I had to take the subway to school. And I had only just turned 14 when I was starting high school, so there's little old 14-year-old me. Imagine me a couple inches shorter, about half as wide, with the emotional maturity of maybe an 11-year-old. And I'm on the subway by myself in New York City during rush hour, and there is this creepy old man. And he is reaching out. And he wants to touch me. Now realize, 11-year-old brain, 14-year-old girl, 11-year-old brain is like, what is wrong with this man? I don't know what he wants to do. I don't know why he's reaching out for me. It didn't make sense to me until many years later. But there he was, this creepy old man reaching out to me. And so I moved away. And he comes closer, and he's reaching out, and I move away again. But there's only so far you can move in the subway in New York City during rush hour. Like, there's no place to go. There's, 30,000 other people in that little car with you. So there's a pole, and I'm moving around the pole. And he keeps coming, and he's going to touch me. And so it's relevant that this is 1988. And the reason that's relevant is because the TV show A Different World had just come out. Do you remember that? Yeah, from The Cosby Show, Denise went off to college. And on that show was a lot of black female professional women. You know the ones, they stood up really tall. They had the shoulder pads in their suits. Their suits were bright colors, and they had those kind of stern faces, but you could tell they loved you anyway. So there I am on the subway, and there's this creepy little guy trying to touch me, and I don't understand what's going on, and I'm moving back, and out of nowhere, these 3 women from Central Casting for A Different World came out, and they form a wall between me and this man. And before I go any further, I want you to know that this is a true story. This is my truth. This is how I truly remember this true story. That being said, if you want to argue that it's not factual, that's okay. Because these 3 women stare at that man. They look at him and they stare at him, and he begins to shrink. And they keep staring, and he gets smaller, and he gets smaller, and he gets so small that he turns into a rat and scampers away. And this is a true story. And then the women disappear. I don't know. It's really crowded. I look around. I want to say thank you. At least that's how I was raised. I'm looking around, and I want to say thank you, and I can't see them. They are gone. So I continue on to school. I get off. But here's the thing. That was the day that this mixed kid, raised by a white woman in a white neighborhood, with contact with, but not regular, with my dad's family, this was the time that I sort of understood what it was to be one of those women from a different world, and to be strong, and to be smart, and to be educated, and to be a protector. And that is when I learned that that's who I wanted to be when I grew up. And last October, I looked at a picture of myself, and I saw that I had become her. Thank you.
Give it up, give it up.